Alright, here's from the beginning. Here is the supply line that's coming into the house. And then cut it, crimped it onto a valve. This is 3/4 inch coming into the house. So I have a 3/4 inch valve. And then I created what we call a manifold. And that is this square pipe. So if you could kind of make out that there's like a rectangle set of pipes fit together. I did that because, this is my main. I'm going to get water flowing both directions so that it creates a kind of reservoir that all my appliances can feed off of. So I'm not, if I'm using water, here, going down this hose, well, that's not going to make this suffer because I got water coming in the other direction too. So I thought it would just create more of an even flow. I wasn't even sure until I put this up, the direction of everything. So I figured that was a cool design to start with. Alright, where's that supply line? Comes right in here into the manifold, which is also 3/4 inch. So I'm 3/4 all the way around. So I have back here, supply line. 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch. So you can see there's 3 crimps on a T. In the corners, obviously I have an elbow, 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch, 2 crimps, and one of those support hooks. Alright, so when it comes to the supply line is actually 1/2 inch because I don't need a 3/4 inch for one appliance. I want my 3/4 inch for my reservoir manifold. But then when I go to an appliance, it turns into 1/2 inch. So right here, I have 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch. And they do sell those. They're pretty easy to find. So 3/4 inch T and a 1/2 inch output. There's my valve. You should have a valve for every appliance. I mean, that may actually be a code, but if anything, it's a good idea. So if you need to be working on something, you can just shut off, one appliance, one line, and it won't affect anything else in the house. Of course, my main also has a valve in case something catastrophic happens. So I have that. There we go. Let's go to the water heater. So here's my supply line, goes into the manifold, and I have this one running down at 3/4 inch. Oh, there it is. 3/4 inch down to, that's still PEX pipe. It looks like PVC, but it's flexible, it's PEX. 3/4 inch into my water heater. And then it comes out, the water heater. Still need to add a pipe there, but not done yet. And then I have my out, which is, I changed to red. There is no difference in the quality of pipe with the color. It's just color. So it indicates, but they're all, it's all PEX. It's all the same. So I made another manifold with the hot water. I did not make a square. I figure I didn't want to waste any energy with too much heat running around, or I want the cold water to go pretty direct. I mean the hot water to go really direct. I didn't want it to swirl around in circles, make a reservoir where the heat would get lost. So I just made that one with, I have 4 things coming out of it. Actually, there's to the washer dryer. It's not hooked up yet. There it is there. Try and get a closer look. There we go. So hopefully this is making sense and you feel like it's something you can do. It is fairly basic. Just take your time and think it through. So each, again, I'm 3/4 inch here, 1/2 inch all the way up, and then one hose for each appliance. Okay, here we are at the kitchen sink. And here's what I had coming down. This came from the faucet, and it had that connection. Here's what I used. Just look for one of these. I believe this is 1/2 inch. This is a 1/2 inch right here. So this would use plumber's tape. Put a little bit of Teflon plumber's tape around there. Just screw it in. Then you have that nipple that the hose goes on. Let's go back here. So you attach it. So you would take this guy and attach it. Let's put that ring on. Hold on. Oh, I can't do this with one hand, but I think you get the idea. It's like you put that ring on. Hold on. There. Okay. So we have the ring. This goes on. There. Then I showed you the rest. You get that crimp tool, crimp that on, and then you take your hose and you run it down there until you get to your manifold. And then you want to post it all up, pin it up before you make that final cut, and give yourself a little bit of slack. Don't cut it too close, because if you're just a few inches short, you can't stretch that stuff. It is flexible, that's nice, but it won't stretch. So give yourself a few extra inches more than you think you need, and then make sure it is fitting to both ends and fastened to the ceiling or wherever you want to fasten it before you do your crimps. Before you do your cuts and your crimps. So hopefully that is plumbing made simple for you. I redid my whole house and saved myself about $2,500. So I hope you have the same kind of luck. It took me about a full day to go through my whole house, and it wasn't that fun, but turn up the music and you'll have a big sense of accomplishment when you're done, and you'll have plumbing.